Real estate index, because along with IT, Realty did well. In fact, the index closed at a 14-year high. But Nimesh, none of the stocks are back to their record levels.
Actually, that's the big story. While the index has hit a fresh 14-year high this week, this month the reality index is up 7%, but none of the individual stocks have hit the previous highs. But let me just go to the wall and explain what's worked for the real estate sector and whether this can continue. So the big point is this week the Nifty Realty Index has hit a fresh 14-year high. So it's a kind of a technical breakout, so to speak, for the real estate index. But what has worked for the reality sector? A couple of reasons why the real estate sector is doing well of late. The first is the industry consolidation. After 10 years, you've seen a massive consolidation in the real estate industry. The second big reason is the regulatory framework, including the RERA. RERA has been a big talking point for the real estate sector, and they've done well because of that. So, and the third is the disciplined approach from all the developers. Now, the companies are focusing on free cash flows, working capital cycles, and execution as well. So that's been the key reason why the reality index has done well so far. But what can be the trigger going forward? The big trigger for next year, which is in FY24, could be the rate cycle. If you see an interest rate cycle coming down, you can potentially see a further stimulus for the real estate stocks and the real estate sector to do well. But as I said, while the index has hit a fresh high, not a single stock in the real estate basket has crossed their previous highs. Let me just go to the table and explain what I'm saying this. DLF, for instance, the stock is up 76% this year. In 3 years, the stock is almost doubled, but still from an all-time high, the stock is down 45%. Same is the case with Godrej Properties as well, up 55% Y2D. In 3 years, it's given 45%, but still away 26% from their all-time highs. Similar is the case with Prestige Estates as well. The stock is already 137% this year, almost up 3 times in the last 3 years, but still away almost 50-60%. DB Realty is another example to track. This stock has been on of course, it was a penny stock, but this year the stock is 110%. The stock is almost gone up 1,200% in the last 3 years, but still the stock is up 63% away from its all-time high. So these are the few large cap stocks that I've identified. Even if you look at the mid-cap sector, mid-cap stocks within the real estate, the story is the same. Look at Anantaraj. That stock is up 150% this year. It's almost up 3 times in the last 3 years, but still it's away 28% from its all-time high. Shobha is the same example. Even Mahindra Life is up for almost 3 times in the last 3 years. It's up 374%, but still it's 10% away from their all-time high. Same is the case with Sunteck Realty as well. I just want to focus on one stock, which is in this mid-cap basket, India Real Estate. It's been pretty much flat. 1 year or 3 years, it's been pretty much flat, but still the stock is still away 89% from its all-time high. And the other example I want to highlight is Unitech. Unitech is on a tear. Of course, it's a very penny stock now, but that's up 417% this year itself. It's and again the Unitech stock still is away 98% from its all-time high. So that's the clear picture that while index has been at a record high, none of the stocks have been. So I've also looked at the fundamental and technical reasons. So the fundamental reason for the real estate sector. I've picked up a report from Morgan Stanley. They reported on December 10th. They believe that the demand support is quite strong, and that's been a positive for industry structure, for which they are very bullish on, and they expect the multi-year cycle to continue for the real estate sector. What are they betting on in the real estate? They prefer companies which has got a strong pre-sales growth as well as strong growth without adding any further debt. So that's been a key trigger for a lot of real estate companies. I've also looked at the technical feedback from Rahul Sharma of JM Financial. He believes that the reality index can double in the next 2 years from now. So they have a target of 1,500 on the reality index. Currently, it's around 770. So what is he betting on in the real estate names? He believes that while the large cap stocks led by DLF has done well this year, it could be a catch-up time for the mid-cap and small-cap real estate stocks to do well. So he's identified 3 stocks in the real estate basket which he's betting on for the next few years. The first name is India Real Estate. It's been a big underperformer. He's betting on that. The second is Keynote Realty. Of course, Rustomji is the brand name for them. And the third name is DB Realty. So as I said, while the index has hit a 14-year high, is on a verge of a breakout, but none of the individual stocks in the real estate basket has still crossed its previous highs.
Okay, Nimesh, thanks a lot for that. In fact, that's an interesting question that we want to pose to Andrew as well.
Sonia, and I put this question, if you remember, to Prestige in the morning. We had the Prestige management. You mentioned, Nimesh, all the fundamental and technical reasons. I suspect one big reason, which there is no way to kind of quantify this or put numbers to it, I think is a stock market boom as well, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
There is equities have done so well, and the wealth effect is so powerful.
It
so
gets into real estate as well.
Yeah.
And look at what has happened in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Even in the real estate sector, the top end real estate has done well.
Yeah.
The 10 crore plus homes have been sold more than the lower end. So
Yeah.
that's the wealth effect which you're seeing, getting spilled over to the real estate from the equity market. So, and again, the rate cycle, we were all talking about rate cycle, that's a big sensitive sector, the real estate sector, which can have a big impact on the real estate stocks and the sector overall.
Although on rates, I mean, I sometimes wonder, on the way up, when rates were going up, sales didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
So when rates fall...
No, it just...
And I don't think somebody who can afford a 10 crore home, I don't think interest rates really matter to them, to
Maybe
be
on the
honest.
affordable side.
On the affordable housing segment, yeah, of
But
course.
the other big thing, wealth effect, is also the ESOPs, which, the startup guys have got, right? That's
Yeah.
also been channeled into real estate. But here's what we'll do. We'll slip into a very short break.